Pay close attention. What you're about to see is Bible prophecy being fulfilled.
Welcome to another edition of YPN News, bringing you news as it relates to Bible prophecy and foretold by Yeshua Hawkins. Well, from multi-billion-dollar gas deals to tainted beef and drinking water to the dirty truth about artificial sweeteners, today's broadcast is sure to enlighten you to current events and how they tie into this last generation and what mankind has chosen to do with the increase in knowledge and technology. But we start off with the world's biggest contract, gas contract worth $400 billion. Wow. That's right. This deal was signed between Russia and China, and it will reportedly change the face of the global gas industry as we know it. Now, for the next 30 years or so, Russia will be supplying China's ever-growing gas-guzzling needs. Now, Europe is a little bit on the edge because they've been looking to diversify their trade, and this deal will give them a little less leverage on pricing with Russia.
Now, this deal is perfect timing for China because they have a population of 1.3 billion people and are the largest consumer of gas, and Russia just so occurs to have the largest reserves of oil. Now, China's growth has come at a cost, and that's air pollution. So this push, Katan, is for the cleaner burning fuel like natural gas.
Right. I've seen some of those images, and they don't look too great over there. Well, now it's barbecue season. It's back in the air again, and with that comes the beef recalls. So far, 11 people in 4 states have been sickened with beef that has been traced back to 12 states in all. Now, the USDA is putting a list together of the stores involved in this recall, and they range in states from Florida to Massachusetts all the way to North Dakota. The beef involved in this latest recall was sold from March to May, so it's probably not in stores now, but more than likely it could still be in the consumers' freezers.
Of course, authorities are urging people who think that they may have purchased this beef from these stores to go ahead and throw it out. And when you cook your beef, they remind you, cook it all the way through.
Now, the southern state of Tennessee has made the controversial choice to bring back the electric chair. Currently, 8 states already have the chair as an option, although they rarely use it, and lawmakers in Wyoming are looking for reintroducing the firing squad.
Wow. Richard Dieter, the executive director of the Death Penalty Information Center, a nonprofit that tracks death penalty, said, using the electric chair is a real step backwards and might hasten the demise of the death penalty because the electric chair as a mandatory punishment is in use in no other state. Now, only lethal injection is allowed in other states. So this is going to face legal challenges, he said, public scrutiny, and international scrutiny as well.
I bet. He continued that some have even stated that the firing squad is more humane, but as with any form of execution, something can go wrong and can be torturous in the way that is carried out. But the electric chair, even by its very nature, he continued, attaching electrodes to hands, head, arms, and feet, and then firing 2,000 volts through a person is so antiquated and obvious that if it were occurring in any other country, he stated, people here in the United States will be outraged and they will call it torture.
Well, our next report is a continuation of a story we reported last week in which the city of Portland, Oregon issued a boil water notice to all its residents. Now, this week, some of the city officials gathered for a press conference and commented on the situation.
In the Associated Press news release, Nick Fish, the Portland City Commissioner, commented, "There will certainly be people watching this who say we've done too little or not enough, and they are entitled to that view. But the reality of this is that this is a heavily regulated area of our water quality, and we have specific guidelines we follow working with bodies that regulate us, and we have virtually no discretion when it comes to these kinds of tests."
Now, the city commissioner continued, I hope that our customers and the public understand that we err on the side of public health. In a perfect world, he said, tomorrow morning we'll be able to announce to Portland that we can stand down. That would be wonderful, but until we have done further testing, he said, we can't say that. We're painfully aware that we're going into a holiday weekend and that this is an inconvenience for people. We regret that, he said, but we're also guided by good science and regulations, and we're doing what is prudent and necessary to protect public health.
Of course, if we were in a perfect world, we wouldn't have a need for boil water.
That's right.
Now, Dr. Paul Lewis, Tri-County Health Officer, tried to downplay the boil water notice by saying E. coli is a giant family with lots of cousins and relatives, okay? It's only used here as just a marker of fecal contamination. That sounds bad in itself. Per se, it doesn't make you sick at all. All of our bodies are full of literally trillions of E. coli right now. So it's just a marker. It's not actually a bacteria that can make you sick, which many people have gotten sick from E. coli. We just talked about it in the beef as well. But if there's fecal contamination in the water, the logic is there could be other things besides that marker organism. And that's the reason for the cautious approach.
Well, David Schaff from the Portland Water Bureau answered the question, was this the largest boil water notice Portland, Oregon has ever had? He stated, I had to confirm with Chris that the previous two were limited to the west side, so yes, the answer is yes. All of our retail customers and many of our wholesale customers, so the whole area there is under the boil water notice.
Amazing. And more of these reports are turning up as we bring these out in the news. A major climate change report released this week got the president's attention. President Obama will be sitting down with a group of meteorologists from around the country, hoping to get the word out that the weather for this country is going to be getting worse and worse over the coming decades as a result of man-made, and they're admitting this, man-made climate change.
In this report from the National Climate Assessment, it talks about what the country can expect over the coming decades if action is not taken right away. Now, one of the warnings from this White House report includes a 1 to 4 foot rise in sea levels by the year 2100. Wow. Now, in addition, intense heat waves and droughts in the Southwest are on their way, and an increase in storm intensity and rainfall rates, and even possible ice-free summers in the Arctic Ocean.
That's amazing. Seems like we're already experiencing some of these heat waves, some of the severe droughts and the flooding. And based on what we've heard from Israel Hawkins and his teachings, it seems like some of these things are already too late to fix.
Right, and they are getting worse, like the report says.
Correct. Now, the report cites that temperatures have gone up at least or almost 2 degrees since the year 1895, but that most of this has occurred in the last 30 to 40 years. Interesting. And all of this is making people aware of the severity of our atmosphere if no action is taken.
Well, our last report for today will have all of you diet soda lovers holding your stomachs. A report coming out this week showing that the synthetic sweetener, aspartame, is literally a bunch of crap. Genetically modified organisms' feces, to be specific. Now, the patent for it is now online for everyone to see how it's actually made, and it's actually made from the poop of GM bacteria.
Amazing. How is this possible, you might ask? Well, genetically modified E. coli, there's that E. coli again, bacteria are cultivated in tanks. They poop proteins that contain an aspartic amino acid linked in several different segments, and those feces are then collected and treated through many chemical processes, including methylation, which adds toxic alcohol, methanol to the mix, and voila, aspartame is made.
Well, by now you might be thinking, okay, I'll just give up diet soda. Wrong, oh poopy breath. Aspartame is in your breath mints, cereal, chewing gum, flavored water, ice creams, coffee syrups, juice drinks, power bars, pudding, ketchup, yogurt, vegetable drinks, candy, and pretty much anything that has the word diet in it. Wow. And that includes, of course, Diet Coke.
Wow. Well, the irony of this is that Coca-Cola just spent a lot of money to produce ads telling you how safe aspartame is. In their ads, they boast that the safety of aspartame is supported with over 200 studies throughout the last 40 years. As sources, they list the Beverage Institute, which, by the way, is owned by none other than Coca-Cola.
How about that? So by now, you're probably screaming, but what about those who look at the safety of this poopy sweetener? Well, sorry to burst your stinky bubble. For further information about the safety of aspartame, you can visit aspartame.org, which is owned by the Calorie Control Council, an international association that represents the food and beverage industry. So in other words, the safety information about aspartame is controlled by those who profit from it the most.
Interesting. Trying to make it a win-win situation for themselves.
That's right.
Meanwhile, there are hundreds of other studies from those who seek to educate others on the dangers of these better than the original inventions that have been linked to aspartame, which of course is leukemia, lymphoma, other cancers, liver damage, and so on. The list goes on and on.
Well, like always, the teaching of Yeshua Hawkins, coming straight from the inspired writings of the prophets and apostles, has been proven 100% accurate. Yeshua Hawkins has, is, and forever will be putting his confidence in his Heavenly Father Yahweh, the only true source of power. We'll find out what the next big scientific discovery will be by reading the monthly writings of Yeshua Hawkins, as he explains the cause and solution for today's problems. Now you can request your free copy of the monthly newsletter or Prophetic Word magazine by contacting the House of Yahweh today.
You can contact the House of Yahweh by writing them at P.O. Box 2498, Abilene, Texas 79604, or you can call them at 1-800-613-9494, or visit them on the web at www.yahweh.com or www.yisroelhawkins.com, or their latest website, www.yahwehsbranch.com. You can also email them at info@yahweh.com. And of course, all calls outside the United States, please dial the number on your screen.
Don't go anywhere. Up next is Yeshua Hawkins, standing firm on the laws of Yahweh and teaching you how not to be fooled. From all of us here at YPN News, I'm Jeffrey Heimerman.
And I'm Katana Alexander.
Thanks for watching.